Okay, I think there we go. It froze for me. I'm not sure if it froze for you all. But thank you all so much for being here today. My name is Jessie Grieve Carlson. I use both they, them, and she, her pronouns, and I work at NGLCC as the Associate Director of External Affairs and Affiliate Relations. And I will be your moderator today for Sip and Pitch Friday. I hope you all are having a lovely Friday afternoon. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for being here. So I am pleased to introduce our judges today who will be providing feedback to our presenters. Today we have with us Bianca Ortega, Senior Director of Supplier Diversity at Marriott International. We're also joined by Rebecca Scheidler, Senior Enterprise IPM Engineer and the Chair of the Pride ERG at US Cellular. And last but not least, Catherine Kuza, Supplier Diversity Program Lead at Berea America. I'm going to go over our rules and regulations for Sip and Pitch Friday, so everyone's on the same page here. Each company that's presenting today has 5 minutes to present their pitch. We are going to have about 10 minutes of feedback and Q&A with our judges today. Some of our presenters might have a slide deck that they share, but if they don't, it's no problem at all. This is designed to give informal and real-time feedback for your company's pitch. If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. I am going to be our timer today. So when our presenters are pitching, you're going to see this little timer on my screen. I'm going to cover my camera so that you don't have to look at me while that's happening. But they're going to have 5 minutes to present their pitch, and they'll get a warning at 60 seconds and 30 seconds so that they know how much time is remaining. And most importantly, this is really meant to be a fun, casual event. This is a judgment-free zone designed to help you enhance your business pitch and grow your company. So all feedback shared here is in the spirit of collaboration, and we are just here to have fun today. So with that, I think we can get started. Our first business that is presenting today is Deneen and Company. Mark, would you, or not Mark, excuse me, Rory, are you presenting today for Deneen and Company?
Yes, I will be. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Do you need to share your screen for that?
Yes, I will.
Okay, great. You should be able to now. Awesome. And you can get started whenever you're ready, Rory.
1 second. When I shared my monitor through your head off the screen, so I'm trying to get you back. There we go. All right, good to go. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Rory Anderson. I work with Deneen and Company. I joined Deneen 12 years ago as an associate consultant, and I'm now the chief operating officer. We're a consultancy, and our purpose is helping leaders grow their companies and enhancing value for stakeholders. What we do, we focus on enterprise strategy for companies and end-to-end mergers and acquisition advisory. Our founder, Mark Deneen, founder and CEO, started Deneen back in 1993. So we just crossed 30 and we just turned 31. We have offices in Boston, Houston, and Singapore, and team members in Brussels and Toronto. As well as we have experience in over 40 industrial sectors and 40 consumer categories. We've served over 180 clients. And as mentioned, we're pretty global, and we've had experience working in over 40 countries over that time period as well. We've had a lot of success with our clients, and I think that's shown in over 80% of our clients come back and have additional engagements in the future. And obviously, we are a proud member of the NGLCC as well. Into our beliefs, we believe that great strategies are built from deep insights, not just data. Uncovering new insights isn't easy. We believe the best approach is to take a fresh look at your business and the market you play in through rigorous internal and external research and analysis. Additionally, a critical ingredient to success is diverse thinking. We find that getting people with different experiences and perspectives generate the best insights. Outsourcing a strategy certainly isn't optimal. Great strategies can fail. They still require buy-in from our clients. So we believe in building through deep collaboration. And also, when creating strategy with our clients, it's important that we are creating achievable and pragmatic plans. This comes down to simplifying strategy. When you're creating something for an organization, it's really important that not just the leaders that we engage with understand, but also that they can relay that strategy, and everyone in the organization's kind of, as you may have heard a million times over, rowing in the same direction. That increases the probability of achieving the ultimate goal of the strategy. And one other thing on our beliefs is we really believe in putting our clients' best interests first, and that can be difficult sometimes when we really believe in telling clients what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear, and sometimes obviously those things aren't aligned. As I mentioned before, we've worked on over 40 industrial sectors and well over 40 consumer categories, serving Fortune 500 companies, as well as privately held companies and premier not-for-profit organizations. But these are certainly our focus areas where we've been in consumer, healthcare, private equity, manufacturing, automotive, and energy and chemicals. And these are some of the companies that we've worked with over the years. Also, I wanted to share our leadership team. We have all of our projects led by senior industry practitioners. You can see management experience really comes from a lot of different backgrounds, from big consumer companies, consulting companies.
One left.
Thank you. As well as some top of the line education organizations. And that is all I have for today. Thank you. I'm open for questions now. You're still on mute, Jesse.
Sorry about that. Thank you. That was a great presentation, Rory. Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Bianca to go first for our feedback.
Thank you. Great presentation, Rory. I was going to ask, because I was browsing the client list pretty quickly. I didn't notice any like hospitality companies, but I may have missed that. Have you guys worked with hotel or hospitality companies in the past?
We have not worked with hotel or hospitality companies directly, but we have worked with many products that hotels may use. Things like, when I say we've hit on a lot of different industrial sectors, that's part of the reason why I joined. It's so much fun learning about all kinds of different products, but things like fine china and other products that hotels use, but not directly for any hotel companies.
Okay, thank you. I like the I like kind of the broad reference of like the 40 industrial sectors and consumer categories. It gives a good idea of like the breadth of experience that you guys have. And I also like the client slide as well as the management experience because that, again, when you see some of the largest like Fortune 500s on that list, then it lets us know, the size and scale of M&A activity that you guys have supported in the past. So I thought that was really helpful to see. I think that was, just kind of the question for me. which is kind of wanting to understand kind of quickly if there's an opportunity for me, in the hospitality space. So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, and even though we have focus areas, I think that was part of something I can certainly think about more in the future, is making it clear that outside of our focus areas, the services that we offer are applicable to all industries. Everybody needs a strategy, and you can be an expert in the process itself and the end markets, and that gets back to talking about getting as much diversity in the room as possible when looking at an industry, coming in with fresh eyes to look and ask the simple questions, going back to the basics to help to uncover those deep insights that I mentioned. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, and I think it would be helpful, like even though you guys have a broad breadth of experience, if there are some real like sweet spots for certain industries, I would definitely highlight those, because I think that could help grab the attention of some corporations really quickly.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great point. And often when I do get to speak with prospects, if I know ahead of time who I'm speaking to, which is usually the case, I'll usually tailor the message and dive deeper into healthcare or consumer experience, and going a level down, maybe whether often it's usually a discussion about enterprise growth strategy, which has a lot of components, or M&A, which is a whole nother kind of area. So definitely curating that message is really helpful in getting into specifics. So right on.
Yeah. And I would just add, I also like the 80% return rate comment. I think that's helpful to know as well. I know you can only cover so much in like 5 minutes, so
Yeah.
understood. But I was going to add, I think it would be helpful to know like some of those other like key like ROI targets or stats, whether it's cost savings, whether it's other numbers that really would stand out in that space. I think that could be helpful as a quick reference as well. But great job.
Great suggestion. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Bianca. I'll pass it to Rebecca.
Oh, thanks. Hi, Rory. Thanks very much for your presentation. I thought it was really great. And yeah, so I liked a lot of, it's a very data driven, and I work with a lot of like data driven folks. So I loved being able to see that, being able to go back and reference it. Every conversation that I have with leaders is always like, where's the numbers? So you brought those to the table. Absolutely wonderful. I think some of the similar comments that Bianca made, I didn't see any telecom experience on there either, but I think that you mentioned like the products and things that you offer, the services that you offer can kind of be tailored to whatever industry. So I would think that maybe, and you mentioned like if you knew the audience going forward, you would of course tailor to that. So yeah, that's what I would focus on. And if it's not one of your main areas, what are some of those, things that can transfer that you have done for some of these other industries that could transfer to a new industry? And any examples of some of those things that you talked about, like growth strategy or brand strategy? I'm interested in those kinds of things, but like, what does that mean? Or do you have an example of what that would look like for someone, whether it was, someone new to your game or somebody coming back for, something else? I think something just to kind of reference, be like, oh, okay, that's taking me down a different path that I didn't, realize before. So I think that's really, really awesome. I think the only other piece of feedback that I would suggest that would make it like really spot on is, so I'm an ERG leader and I work with supplier diversity. So I'm a little bit of a different audience. So I would suggest, I know that if you're talking to other supplier diversity, representatives, to maybe think about also how you would work with their companies, ERGs or BRGs. Like if you have like some of these strategies or things that you provide in like bite-sized content, or if you offer any of those kinds of things that are educational, your ERGs are looking to get content on that to help their company as well and partner with supplier diversity on those. So anything that you do that it's like that can be broken up into like smaller or repeatable like educational things would be really awesome to know.
Great. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. And Catherine, go right ahead.
Hi, great presentation, Rory. Thank you so much for your time with that. I just have a to piggyback, I completely agree with the comments from both Rebecca and Bianca. And just to piggyback on a few of them, I will say that, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure which one of you said it, but the numbers is really important to have. And I thought that first slide that had the data was really key. And then the third one with the leadership team. I would say that that second one where you spoke on your beliefs, I think that that's great. However, I would save that for your second round of once you've gotten through the door to really explain more, because you are limited with your time and you want to capture them. So with showing the numbers and explaining your numbers, seeing who you're working with, these are all things that people are going to want to see from the get-go to see, is this really worth my time? Is this someone I really want to get to that second spot? So I wouldn't want you to waste your breath on the beliefs part until you got them reeled in, and then wow them with that. And then as far as the leadership slide, I thought it was great too. I would kind of end with, again, this is a more generalized audience, but depending on who your audience is, just let them know who like the right point of contact from that list would be, or of interest for the audience that you're speaking to, who would be a good point of contact or whatnot. But other than that, I thought everything else was great, spot on, and yeah, good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate the feedback. It's really great, you calling out the beliefs. That's something that we often are always debating whether to include on particular presentations and not. And sometimes that, like you said, comes later. So I think that's really good to get some validation and feedback from you there as well. Nice to know, like, the contextual numbers were seemed like they hit well and they were very informative. So great numbers about the company, and then the leadership and the people that you'd be interacting with and their backgrounds. Seems like that was critical. And like you said, in a short time period, the things that people are really going to care about and remember for
Yes,
the
and
first
who you're working with.
and
So
who we're
that
working
slide,
with.
that
Yes.
slide that
Okay.
showed the different companies, that's really important. Yeah.
Awesome. And Rory, did you have any questions for our judges before we close this out?
Yeah, any feedback, and I won't take it personally, but like any feedback on my delivery, energy, articulation, speaking too fast, like in my head, when I'm speaking to people, I'm often always like, yeah, speak slowly, take your time. And then sometimes I get so much into the information that I feel like I speed way up. So anything on delivery?
Uh, I would say so I love your enthusiasm now. Like at first you kind of started off a little bit. I was like, is he reading?
Yeah.
But I know you had a lot of information you wanted to get off, so that's completely understandable. The only thing I did notice, and I made a note, was you had a laser on your mouse and you kept
Oh my
moving
God.
that a lot. So it was a little on the distracting side. But other than that, we can tell you knew the information. So
Yeah.
once you got more comfortable. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I would
No,
just say,
that.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you, and that totally resonates. And depending on doing the proper prep, I feel like you get more conversational rather than in your head, and so that totally makes sense to me. And it's always a good reminder, like over prepare, over prepare, over prepare. Then you're going to feel more natural and more conversational. Totally get it. And I totally forgot that I put the laser on and I was going to use it.
No
Good
worries.
call. Sorry, Rebecca.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, yeah, I was watching the laser too a couple of times. I was like, oh, stop. But I would work on your closing, especially like if you have a company like tagline, or anything. It kind of sounded like it, just sort of trailed off at the end. So if there's anything that you want us to walk away from, like if we remember one thing from what you talked to us about, what is that one thing? And kind of wrap up or end with that, whether it's one of your beliefs or maybe like a company tagline or something like that. I know for me, the hardest part is trying to know when to stop talking. So I completely understand that.
100%. That really, thinking about that now, just knowing how I trail off at the end, that totally resonates. And just thinking about when you're introducing yourself to someone or pitching a company, I mean, your closing is huge. It's almost as important as your opening. So that makes a lot of sense. Like you want to end with a bang and people being like, yes, versus
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I would just add one of the things that I thought of after the fact is like I feel like there's a large like sustainability focus around M&A activity these days. So there's any way that you all can speak to that. I think that could be helpful to draw in customers because we're just in this heightened awareness around like ESG strategies. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I think one thing that's helpful for me is like something that like grabs my attention up front. You know, like I don't know what the stats are around like M&A, but if it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to make anything up, but I think something that just grabs our attention, whether it's like a big cost savings thing or something of that nature, I think could help to just kind of draw us in. Because I think, as Rebecca mentioned, like what's grabbing our attention, and then what's the differentiator, because there are a lot of M&A companies out there. So what makes us think of you guys first and foremost, you know, in comparison to others?
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rory. That was a great presentation. And thank you to our judges for your feedback. We are going to move it along to our next presenter. We have Blue Angel Flame Company who is presenting. So Ace, you're welcome to take it away. You should be able to share your screen.
Great. All right. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, for sure.
My name is Ace Chandler. I use they, them pronouns. I am excited to talk with you today about my business, Blue Angel Flame Co., BAFCO for short. We are a custom candle company. We make custom candles from found object figurines. Our work is based in an ethic of creative reuse, what some people call upcycling. The concept for Blue Angel Flame Co. came about in 2020. I was at a local thrift store, as I often am, and came across this doll head pictured here on the right of the screen. I remember at the time feeling inexplicably sad for the doll. I was struck by how stuck the doll seemed there in the packaging. I wondered who would be buying this doll or if it would stay sitting on the shelf. This was a time in my life when I felt profoundly stuck. The pandemic had recently hit, and there were necessary restrictions on regular flows of movement, where we could go. I, like many of us, was out of work and mostly sheltering in place. And during that time, without the daily distractions of business as usual, I was forced to encounter my long-standing gender dysphoria, which I had until that point been ignoring, and it all came to a head. And seeing that doll, this doll, that day at the thrift store was a funny mirror to my own experience of stuckness at the time. Me and this doll head, were both stuck and in need of some transformation. I was thus inspired to bring new life to the doll through the process of custom candle making. The doll, using BAFCO's candle making processes, reemerges from its formerly fixed state into a joyous candle creation, offering light to our clients in their own necessary transformations, small and large. Candles have long been a tool to offer guidance, inspiration, connection, warmth, and more. They cast light, they help you see where you are and vision where you want to go. So what we do, we offer a 3-step process to our clients. Step 1 is discovery. This is finding the found object figurines. Step 2 is formation, which is making custom molds, which become the basis for Step 3, reanimation, these custom candles. The completed candle, once it's finished, is now a tool for our clients to begin their own processes of transformation. About our market and competition. Our target market are individuals and businesses passionate about transformation, invested in their own transformation, small and large. For us to reach our target market, we use multiple channels, including our website, which is blueangelflame.com. We sell at local pop-ups and regional retailers with the goal of eventually being housed nationally and internationally. We also partner with corporate clients who are interested in unique gifts for their employees. And as far as the competition goes, a local competitor you might be familiar with is Yankee Candle. They create
1 minute left.
They create large candles in glass jars made with custom scents. And though they're our direct competitor, the ethos of our businesses are very different. And we believe that BAFCO's belief in sustainability and creative reuse will differentiate our market ultimately from Yankee Candles.
30 seconds.
And then as far as financials go, we value quality and affordability. Our products are handmade, and we believe it comes through in our product. We believe in give back to mutual aids and other community efforts. And that about covers it. Thank you so much for your time. Please follow me at Blue Angel Flame Co. Be in touch. Thank you.
I did it again. I'm still muted. Oh my goodness. That was an awesome presentation, Ace. And you ended literally right on the second mark. So that is really impressive. And I put the link to Ace's shop in the chat here. So you should check out their candles while we start talking feedback. And I will pass it to Catherine to start us off here.
Great job, Ace. Thank you so much. So I did have a couple notes. I thought it was a really nice touch to have that personal story and background as to what got you into such a creative work of art that you're doing, actually. And then basically your story as to why and then how you got there. So that was really interesting. And I do like that you did add that in. And then how it works is also a good point that you made, which is really interesting because you don't really see these type of candles. And I think that that makes you stand out. So that's really important that you are showcasing that. The only thing I would say is maybe more information on what it's actually made of. As Bianca mentioned with the whole ESG, that's a really big thing people want to know, especially a product that's such as candles. I think would be really interesting. And then maybe like a list of, because you did mention how Yankee Candle was like your competitor, maybe some scents that you guys have and what they're called and the creativity. Because I know sometimes people get really into that, like, oh, my scent is called Misty Blue or something like that. So you want to show that there's a creativity behind that, or that they can, because it can be personalized to what you want, they can also personalize it with scents or whatnot. So just make sure that you're elaborating on the creativity of the whole project of it. But other than that, I would say great job. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Catherine. I'll pass it to Rebecca to go next.
Excellent. Thank you. Great presentation. I absolutely loved it. I thought the graphics were really unique and lovely. So thank you for doing those. They were a lot of fun to look at while you were going through your presentation. I completely agree with Catherine on the scent thing. Also, if unscented is an option that you offer, I would highlight that as well, because there's a lot of issues with scents as well. But in thinking of like customizing, scents and different kinds of candles, if you know the company company, like once you kind of got that in for a company and you go back for another one, if you know of a company's like core beliefs and values, you can tailor like scent names and candle icons to those kinds of things. If they're, passionate about, like if the big core is like passion for something, like here's our passion flower candle that has like, and then several of their buzzwords within your scents and candle names and versions of it would really kind of nail it on the head. And then are there like specific times of year or celebrations that you specialize in, different kinds of candles that you have, whether it's 4th of July or end of year, or like Pride Month things, or Trans Day of Visibility that has a lot of like candle like works things in there. If you have specialized candles or events that you like to do things around, that would be really great to know as well. Also on the ERG front, we would be able to pull you in for not only like maybe like workshops on how to make those or partner with you on those, but also to hear your story. I loved that you had essentially what was a coming out story within that. And so any kind of program for an ERG leader that is around like coming out stories, or just like highlighting, LGBTQIA professions that are just around, you've got a great story and a great product that can potentially come with a workshop as well with it. So I see a lot of like potential like re-engagement and times where you would come back to the same company to do like multiple things. So I would really highlight that.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a good idea for other ways to engage with corporations. Thanks, Rebecca. And Bianca, go right ahead.
Hi, Ace. Thank you for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. It's such a cool, interesting product. And a lot of times we hear a lot of like the same things like staffing companies. I do like staffing companies, but it's nice to learn about a different business. And I definitely loved the story behind it as well. Just really cool candles. Honestly, I'm like, would I want to burn one of these if I if I had one? Because they're so interesting. And it's interesting that you mentioned like Yankee, because I'm like, is this your competition? Because these are like not your mom's candles, right? And so I almost think that honestly, and I like the creatives and like some of the wording like in your deck, but I think if you got with a really great like marketing firm and really took your messaging up a notch, like I think it would be amazing. Like really focusing on the names and the scents, kind of like Rebecca and Catherine mentioned, but the packaging, like I just think, and then like just a really like crisp like marketing campaign, I think it would just be awesome. So I think you have an amazing product. I think it's just marketing it right, telling your story in a clean and concise way that really connects with people, I think would be helpful. I also think that, the sustainability piece, that Catherine mentioned, I think I would support that. What is the product? Is it wax? Is it soy? What are the burn hours that are like, that you get out of each candle? I feel like I find myself looking for that more lately because these candles are expensive and I want to get my money's worth. So that would be helpful to know. What else did I write down? I think that was really, really it. I will say that like some, I kind of, sorry, I had a comment here. No, I think that's it. I really like it.
Yeah, thank you all so much for your feedback. I take it all to heart, and I will say Safco candles are unscented. That's not what we do. There's a lot of people doing that, and we leave that to them. In the vein of sustainability, we focus on naturally derived dyes, wax, and wicks, and kind of leave the scent profile for other people. And yeah, I think all of your respective feedback is just very true. And I love the idea of kind of amping up the brand messaging to that kind of clean, concise place to really grab people and kind of, yeah, stand out in the way the candles already do. And yeah, again, thank you so much for the feedback.
I love that personally because I'm allergic to like basically all perfume. So I will be buying your candles then. But Ace, do you have any questions for our judges before we move on?
Questions, I'm sure I do. I guess as far as kind of like hooking the personal story to the more kind of like stats of the candle making and kind of like what the candle is, I think what I was hearing from you all in different ways was like the story itself was useful and maybe necessary, and there could be more kind of amplification of the like the stats around what exactly is being sold, what kind of wax and wicks and dyes and all of that there is. Is there any other kind of things you think that I should consider or prioritize for future pitch decks or things like this?
I would add that I think that um, there will probably need to be like flexibility in your approach depending on who you're meeting with, right? If you're talking to Target, that would, it might be very different than if you're talking to like a corporation and you're focused on that like associate resource group or maybe their corporate giving program. So I think understanding I think it's kind of obviously you got to have like a general message, right? But when you can get like targeted individuals on the phone or when you're meeting with them, I think like something that really focuses on what will bring them in or draw them in would be really helpful. I think it would be cool to if there was some sort of like charitable piece like in connecting with your story, like if you made a donation of a certain amount or a candle could be provided to like trans people that are exploring or a certain organization. That could be a really good connector as well. People love products that are purpose driven. So I think that could help and also help connect you with an organization that could help drive sales as well.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
I might just add, if I may, Ace, I loved your story and your presentation was so unique and creative. Um, as the timer, I was watching the clock and your story was about half of the presentation. So I think just making sure that you're leaving time for like actually displaying images of all of your products, because I don't think we got to see much of that. I remember you mentioning that you do donate to mutual aid funds. So maybe explicitly stating like what that looks like and how your profits are going back, like Bianca said. And yeah, just getting very explicit with those data points around your products and what folks will be looking at. But Catherine and Rebecca, do you all have anything else to add there?
No, I agree. I think again, everybody loves the data. So any numbers that you can bring back, especially with how your business has grown, or again, like those times that you've given back to the community because of your, the things that you create. I think those data points are always going to be lovely and very well received.
I'll just reiterate what Jesse was saying. The story was great. Just maybe tighten it up a little bit so it doesn't seem as long. And then with the whole, like you mentioned at the end, that you guys don't use any, like your products are clean and natural, like use your story to kind of go into that. And it shows that, it shows the overall persona of the company and what you're trying to portray.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ace. I'm excited to buy a candle from you. And I personally have I'm looking at my little pile of candles on my dining room table right here. So it'll be a great addition. But so much. And I'm going to pass it now to our third and final presenter. We have Will joining us. Will, do you need to screen share here? You should be able to. Sorry?
I do. Please.
Okay, great. You should, if you click share screen, it should work for you.
All right. Let's see. I believe I am ready.
Awesome.
Okay, don't start the time yet. Don't start the time yet.
Good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are very proud to be an LGBT business enterprise with NGLCC. W. Bradford is a full-service, creative-focused marketing agency with a lot of B2B experience, especially, which helps inform a very entrepreneurial mindset for our business. So a few things about us foundationally. We only do what we do best. We've been in business for 7 years, and one of the things that's very important to us is delivering a premium, results-driven product that looks beautiful. So we guide brands to create more compelling stories that drive expedited industry leadership and increased market share. When brands trust the proven creative and strategic capabilities that we have, they experience turbocharged marketing momentum, enhanced brand personality, and a revived competitive position. The key industries that we focus on, when we were in the very beginning in 2017, we would work with anyone. That's what anyone's new business would do. These are the 8 industries where we focus. So if you don't see your industry here, I hope you will continue to enjoy the show. But these really are the areas where we have found ways to excel and a record of success for our clients. And speaking of our clients and some other accolades, you'll see a broad spectrum here of clients in these industries. It's a blend of B2B, it's a blend of B2C, and some who are both, which is also an interesting challenge. A lot of companies sell a product or a service to a company. That company then needs to sell it to the end consumer. Sometimes we cover one or the other. Our most notable recognition recently is that we were among the 55 fastest growing privately held companies in Cincinnati and 15 surrounding counties. So with all of these kinds of recognition, it's not for the awards. To me, it's a representation that we are really building something special that people believe in and are benefiting from in all of the ways that matter to a business. A very distinct part of the experience of working with W. Bradford is the way that we work with clients compared to other agencies. I started an agency because I didn't like any of the other agencies where I worked. I wanted to do things differently and not charge people for fluff and process and all of these things. And that's not to say that we don't have process, but we are full service. We are fearless with our creative. We will suggest something even if we think it might rock the boat a little bit, because we want to push brands into the place of their greatest opportunity. Everything that leaves our doors has a premium polish and is very thoroughly vetted in terms of everything down to spelling all the way to technical expertise about the topic we're covering. We are fast. A lot of people appreciate that these days because we all have 5 jobs we're trying to do within 1. So anytime that we can move faster, be more efficient, and still deliver the quality that we promise, we're going to do it. We're entrepreneurial. Our team thinks like business people. I've trained them to do that. We do not tackle a social post or a packaging design or a website without thinking like the CEO and the marketing director of that company. They need results. You're paying for results. So that's what we need to deliver. A few more idea-driven. We always start with big ideas. We don't just take a brief and execute like it's a task. We want to help you tell a story that your customers will remember. We're adaptable. It's a very dynamic country that we live in right now in terms of the business world. The economy is volatile, so we are always able to scale up or down and adapt to the needs of a business, and we are very scalable in that way, so we are ready. Like I said, 7+ years, 135+ brands, both verticals. We've launched over 200 products, and of course, we are proud to be NGLCC certified. I think using the remainder of the time, I'll just give you a cruise through of some of our creative, and you can ask any questions at the end. This is a regional airline carrier for United Express that we rebranded.
30 seconds.
They even painted the plane, which is great. This is a lighting product photography and full campaign. And finally, a car service and tire service provider. We rebranded 30 locations in the Cincinnati and Indianapolis markets. And I'll close with this: fortune favors the bold. If you don't take risks, you will not experience success that will last. And that's the heart of who we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will. That was great. Especially the ending there. That was a great tagline. I'm going to pass it to Rebecca to start us off with some feedback.
Hey, thank you, Will. Thanks very much for sharing. I liked your presentation. It was very clean and crisp, which I guess should be, since that's kind of sort of part of what you do, right? My biggest takeaway, what I kept hearing you say quite a bit, is storytelling. We're good at telling stories, telling compelling stories. We want to help you tell a great story, and I like the stories that you've had at the very end. I know it's a whole timing issue thing too, so I don't know in something like 5 minutes how you can restructure that, but I would have liked to see some of those stories sort of right near the beginning, when you're talking about like, hey, here's some stories that we can help you tell or help you retell, to kind of set the tone, and then kind of go through some of the other things that you do. Also, congratulations. I think you said something like it was one of the 55 fastest growing companies. I had never heard anything like that before. That's huge. So congratulations. That's great. I liked that data point. It shows that you are very innovative with some of the things that you do. I liked that you spelled out, here are the companies that we worked with, and you gave clarity. If you don't see your company here, these are the ones that we kind of do, and we do what is best. I would kind of make sure to leave yourself open in case another opportunity comes along. Maybe you won't do it because you do want to stick with the ones that you do best, but I wouldn't necessarily shut that door, because maybe somebody might come through and say, I didn't see myself on that list, but I'm kind of interested in moving towards one of those areas, or I really loved what you did and I could make you a compelling offer to do business with us. So I love that you have those in there and that you focus on what you do best, but maybe not quite shut that door when talking about if you don't see yourself represented there. But I absolutely loved the stories. I think those were the coolest part for me, and I loved all of the things at the end. I wish we had more time to see some of those.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's great feedback. Yeah, 5 minutes. I mean, we all know that's not necessarily real world, but did my best, y'all.
5 minutes sounds like a good amount of time, and then it happens and it's over.
Not.
Yeah. Well, I will pass it to Bianca.
Thank you. Thanks, Will. Yeah, I really enjoyed your presentation. I thought it was really informative. I was definitely like Rebecca, like, where's the creative? I wanted to see that up front, because that just kind of grabs you and grabs the attention. So yeah, I would definitely kind of pull that up, because it really speaks for itself. Like when you see some of those really like glamorous and glossy graphics, it grabs your attention right away, more so than what you're even saying at times. So I think that would be helpful. I would say in the beginning, it did feel a little like kind of like you were reading a bit. So I would just try to keep it more conversational. I think also when it comes to marketing, it's helpful to kind of understand the ROI, like whatever kind of feedback you guys have received from successful campaigns. I would definitely try to pull some of that in, because I mean, as I would imagine, obviously I'm not in this industry, but I would think it's very competitive, and that it's difficult to win new business, especially with like some of the larger, like Fortune 500 companies. They work with really big firms, they're, and that's what they're used to doing. So I think for you guys, a newer firm, 7 years, I think it would be helpful to kind of understand what are some potential like entry points. I think that would be good for me. Like what would be a good potential entry point for like, a large company. I know some of the things that we're working on right now is like some of our like loyalty campaigns for like Bonvoy members. Like we were redoing our app and like things like that. But it's just kind of interesting to like make the connection on what kind of projects we could start you guys out with, or like a large company would be willing to potentially partner with you guys on. I know that sounds bad, but you know how they are. So I think that that would be helpful. And I really like the tagline, like the fortune favors the bold, because that lets us know right away that you guys are not doing the boring branding, right? That you're innovative, that you're thinking outside the box. And so if a company is looking to create that type of brand image, then we need to work with you guys. So I like that. And I think like a call to action would be nice as well. But great job.
Thank you. I do cover some of those things in our broader presentation. I like that you said it sounds rehearsed. I give a presentation like this about 5 times a day. So that's a good reminder for me. But to my fellow business owners here, if you don't ask, you don't get. So Bianca, shoot me your email address and we will cover those exact things.
Absolutely.
Love that. And that is the spirit of this event. We're making connections and practicing and getting to know one another. Thank you, Bianca. And Catherine, go right ahead.
Yes, great job. Well, thank you. I do agree on some of the notes that Bianca and Rebecca did say. The part where you said about the industry focus and that you were showing us the different skills. So I do like that you were kind of like, this is what we do, and that you're not trying to be like a jack of all trades. But I do agree with Rebecca where you don't want to close yourself off. So you can always just kind of like, uh wording is everything. Just let them know this is what we focus, but we're open to do the research for the type of industry that you're doing. But it still shows that your skill set and what it is that you're doing. So I thought that was really good. I do like that you showed your awards and certifications, because I think that that's important for a lot of different companies, that they want to see your involvement, what you're certified in, and whatnot, your accolades. It's important to boast about your business. And then I did also like the opportunity to see your work. As they mentioned though, some of the slides, and this is just for time's sake, some of the slides that you had early on, you can just speak on them as you're showing us the actual work, because your work is really good. And as Bianca said, it speaks for itself. So we can still listen and still look and be like in awe of like the stuff that you're doing and still getting the other information. And then you'll be able to kind of keep it within that 5-minute mark. So yeah, those were my little tidbits for you, but great job overall. Really impressive.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine. And Rebecca, you have not gone yet, right?
Oh, I went first this
the
time.
first one.
Okay. My Friday afternoon brain, I was like trying to if you had gone yet. Well, awesome. Will, do you have any questions for our judges today before we close out?
Yeah, I think in terms of sourcing a marketing agency, especially one that's small, people look for lots of different things. We have some people, I think, who hire us to be their best friend. And then we have some people who they want that report at the end of the month that's all green arrows. And then some people just want pretty things. So at the scale of business that you all have, what are the metrics and the things that you all shop for most commonly right now? Because I've noticed a lot of this tends to happen in trends.
So I guess I can go first and just kind of say, honestly, I feel like our marketing teams can be they're very relationship driven, right? And we have long-standing relationships with certain suppliers, and it's like those are the go-to, and that's kind of that, right? So I think that's why it's helpful for me to kind of understand what some potential entry points are. So for me, I'd be like, how did you get some of this other business, right? Especially knowing that you guys are so in our one-on-one, that's what I'll ask, like, what are like, sometimes it's just so there are products that I hear about and I don't even know that it's coming up internally in my business, but I'm like, this is so awesome. Who do I introduce them to? Because they really grabbed my attention. And there's others where, which is, there's an opportunity that we're sourcing for, and then you bring them in. So it just depends. And unfortunately, I don't think I have the right information to share with you in terms of like how our internal team operates, other than the fact that, that it is more so relationship driven. And so it just really depends on the opportunity.
That's great.
But we do have a policy to include diverse suppliers in all of our RFP opportunities over a certain threshold. So I think just knowing what your sweet spot is can help me to plug you in that way.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. This was fun. Thank you all.
I'm glad you thought so. It's meant to be fun. And you had a great presentation, Will. Thank you so much. So we're going to get started on our final portion of the event. But before that, I'm wondering if our judges have any final closing thoughts to share with our presenters today before we move on. Whoever would like to go first, go right ahead.
I'll jump in. I know we have a lot of, when we do the sip and pitches, we have a lot of supplier diversity leaders on that are, the judges and provide great feedback, which that's exactly who most of the time that, these businesses are pitching to, is the supplier diversity, representative. I'm able to bring, I think, a unique perspective in that I work with an ARG or ERG and partner with supplier diversity from that angle. So I look for different things. And then I hit up my supplier diversity person and say, hey, I would like this because of X, Y, and Z reasons. So I would also just make sure that if it makes sense for what you're pitching or who you're pitching to, anything that you can speak to that an ARG or ERG might find beneficial, specifically when it comes to like bite-sized content. If we can call you in for an hour to talk about just like you being a leader in this space and what your business is, if you offer any kind of educational things, like even from a marketing standpoint, we would be able to, contact you and say, hey, well, how do you as a leader, like engage in this space? Do you have, ideas that we can use to kind of level up our careers, and just talk about, what you do as, as a company in general? Those are things that we can contract you out for as speaker events for ERG things, whether it's one time or, multiple times throughout the year. So anything that you do offer, especially in the educational space, that can be tapped into for like bite-sized content is always really great to hear. I hope that made sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that perspective, because there are a lot of different folks within corporations who are looking for opportunities like this. So thanks for sharing that. And Bianca and Catherine, if you have anything you'd like to share as well.
I'll just say that, as far as like when you're presenting your pitches and stuff like that, just, you are the process. Trust the process. Excuse me. Trust the process. So if you know your business, like it's just going to cut, and those selling points, it's just going to come off like, like butter, I guess you can say. Obviously you don't want to be cocky about it, but you want to show that confidence in your business, because that's going to exude it. And then it's going to make the person you're trying to pitch want to have what you're giving. So just trust yourself, and you guys are going to do great. Can't wait for it.
I love that. Thanks, Catherine. And Bianca, do you have any closing thoughts to share?
Sure. I just want to say thanks again. I learned about some really cool businesses today. So this was a really great experience for me. I think, in addition to pitching, I think just networking and building those relationships is key. I have vendors that I run into at conferences, and just being personable, being cool, being someone that people want to get to know, it just helps that much more, right? You don't want to be, well, I don't want to tell you what not to be. But anyway, I won't go there. I was going to talk about kind of some of the salesy things that people do, but I've noticed, like, especially like during the pandemic, missing that networking time at conferences really impacted businesses. So really leverage that in-person time to just kind of get to know people, and just kind of make sure they know what you do, so that when an opportunity becomes available, they know who to reach out to, and they know what differentiates you from other companies. So I would just kind of point that out.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And we try to host things like this for that purpose of being able to have natural relationship building moments, like what will be our next portion of this event. Lily, if you don't mind going to the next slide, which is our community and conversation portion of the event where we're going to do some speed networking. So you all will get to have a quick round of getting to know one another. If you'll go to the next slide for me, Lily. So we're going to do about 3 to 5 minutes per round, and you'll be in small groups to just get to know one another, and you can share your name, your company and role. And because Pride Month starts tomorrow, which is really exciting, our icebreaker question can be one of your favorite Pride Month memories from the past, if you would like to share that with the group. So I'm gonna get us started in our breakout rooms here. And you should be prompted to join a room, and we'll get back together in 3 to 5 minutes. Hey, y'all. It looks like folks are gonna come back in about 10 seconds. Awesome. Everyone should be joining now. If anyone would like to share one of their favorite memories from a previous Pride Month, I would love to hear it if someone feels called to share.
Andrew, I'm not going to put you out there, but I am because I really liked your story. So I'm just going to say that.
All good. So about 10 years ago, I marched with Dykes on Bikes in Chicago, and it was Mad Max themed. My legs are still sore, I feel like, from that. But it was a great experience and a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I wish I could see photos. I bet that's really cool.
They are on Facebook, so.
Does anyone else want to share a memory from a previous Pride Month?
I don't have a memory, but I just want to know if there were outfits involved in the Mad Max theme, because I could see that being interesting.
Yeah, and meaning they were associated with the bikes. I myself was not on a bike, but I was walking next to several people that went all out. It was really cool.
That's amazing.
I love when people commit to a costume, for sure. Well, awesome. We're going to do one more round of speed networking, Lily, if you don't mind putting up that slide there. I'm going to try to do a different set of rooms. Hopefully sometimes I get confused about how to move people around, but I think this should work. So you all have 5 minutes and you can answer what you're looking forward to this Pride Month, if you have anything coming up that you're excited about. Okay, thank you all. Would anyone like to share about what they're looking forward to this Pride Month? Feel free to unmute and go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll share. I just shared with the group, and it's very simplistic, but the Pride Month and the parade in Boston is always kind of comes along with great weather, shut down streets, and dogs to pet. I don't know. That's easy to please.
Shut down streets in a city is so nice. That is something to look forward to for sure. And the dogs. Awesome. Anyone else who'd like to share?
Well, speaking of shutting down streets, I live in Los Angeles, and so it's nice to see Santa Monica Boulevard with just the floats and a whole lot of people. So what I'm looking forward to is I belong to the LA LGBT Chamber, and they asked me to be on the Pride float this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've gotten to know some wonderful people in the chamber, and they said to, advertise your company however you want. So I made a T-shirt that is my company. My company's called Blazing Ginger. So I branded my hair color. So I've got this bright orange T-shirt with my logo. So do the Pride float, and then there's an after party afterwards, which I'm really looking forward to.
That's amazing. The LA Chamber is so great. I'm glad that you get to partner with them and be on the float.
For sure. I'm excited.
Is there a ginger orange cocktail that goes with it?
I think there has to be now that you've mentioned it.
That's awesome. Anyone else would you like to share before we close out here? Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here on a Friday afternoon. It's been so fun to get to learn about some new businesses and get to know you all. And I appreciate your support for our LGBTQ business owners. Last couple things. We have our annual conference taking place right at the end of July. It is in Palm Springs, which is the hottest place we could have possibly chosen at the end of July, but there will be air conditioning, so that's okay. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you are interested in learning more about our conference. It is such a fun event, and we have matchmaker meetings at the conference as well. So you'll be able to use this pitch that you've practiced at those meetings when you meet with corporate partners and other business owners to build relationships with. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. I'm really excited for that. And I also just want to drop in the chat our next Sip and Pitch Friday, which is our Pride Month edition. You can register at this link here, and we will have 3 more suppliers practicing their pitch for you all, our amazing audience. And until then, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you all.
Thank you.